welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. And if you're just visiting, please consider subscribing. So today is the last video in my tag week, and as I mentioned in the first video, today I'm going to introduce a new tag. And I haven't completely decided on the name of this tag. I think I'm going to call it my fragrance addiction tag, but if I change my mind by the time I post this video, it will be reflected in the title. So whatever the title is what I call this tag. So I wanted to create a tag that maybe had slightly different questions than we often hear in fragrance tags. And I will be upfront to you and tell you that some of the questions in this tag are inspired by some videos that I saw on Russian-speaking YouTube. So not all of the questions are original. So I took some of the questions that I saw, I added some of my own, and came up with a tag that consists of 12 questions. So I hope you enjoyed this tag, and whoever wants to do it, I would love it if you do it. Definitely let me know if you do this tag, but I am going to tag some people in a description for sure. So definitely make sure to check out the description to see if you've been tagged. So let's go to the first question, which is, why do you use fragrance? Is it a mood booster? Is it a habit? Do you use it for compliments or for any other reason? Now, for me, I mentioned this before, I definitely don't care about compliments. I wear fragrance for myself. So part of it is definitely a habit. I sort of feel naked if I leave the house without a fragrance. So it is definitely part of my routine. It is also a mood booster because I try choosing fragrances that put me in a good mood, that act as mood boosters. That's why I'm not a huge fan of kind of dark and gloomy fragrances. So it's both of those things, you know, fragrances make me happy, make me feel good, and they have become an absolutely necessary part of my daily routine. Question number 2, how much and where do you apply fragrances? So in general, I'm an oversprayer, but it depends where I'm going. What I mean is, for example, if I'm going to the office, well, I can't overspray. You know, I have to be careful with how much fragrances I apply versus if I'm at home or going out or going to a store, you know, that's a whole different story. So if I'm going to the office, I will probably spray about 4, maximum 5 times. I typically spray, let me take a fragrance, it'll be easier to show. I will spray here and here twice somewhere on my hands and maybe once in my hair. That's typically how I spray if I'm going to the office. Now, for all other occasions, I definitely spray a lot more. I would spray, you know, on my hands, here, probably more on my arms. I'll spray somewhere on my chest, on my neck, here at the front, at the back, in the hair. So definitely at least 8 sprays, perhaps even up to 10. The only exception is, you know, there are some fragrances that are real beasts that you cannot spray this much. Then, you know, I will go with fewer sprays. But in general, yes, I'm oversprayer and I really go out because I want to be able to smell my fragrance, and to be honest, fragrances don't last well on me, so very often I have to overspray to make sure that it lasts a decent amount of time and that I can smell it. Next question, how many perfumes do you use per day? So I definitely use more than one. In general, I would say I use 3. I would spray perfume in the morning. I would spray again probably right after work, or if I'm working from home, as I have been for a long time now, it could be that sort of after lunch, I would spray something else. And then I definitely spray a fragrance before going to bed. So at least 3 times, you know, if let's say I'm going out somewhere in the evening, then I would also spray again during that time. So in general, 3 to 4 times a day, meaning 3 to 4 different perfumes. Question number 4, do you enjoy other perfumed products like candles and lotions and soaps, things like that? And this answer might surprise you, but I really don't. As far as candles go, I mean, I sort of go through these stages where sometimes I enjoy burning a candle, but on a regular basis, no, I don't. Lotions, I really prefer unscented lotions because I feel like if I have a scented lotion, then I'm committing to that scent for the whole day. But like I just said, you know, I like changing my fragrances throughout the day. So I don't want to be committed to that one scent. That's why I prefer unscented lotions, just, you know, to moisturize my skin. And then whatever fragrance I apply, it doesn't, the scent of the lotion doesn't interfere with that. And soaps, yeah, you know, I'm not too picky about that. I don't really care what soap I use. So yeah, overall I have to say, I really don't care about other scented products. Next question. What fragrance in your collection best represents your current taste and aesthetic? And I really had to think about this one. And I came up with 100 Silent Ways from Nishane. So why this fragrance in particular? Well, first of all, let's talk about the aesthetic. Yes, I've mentioned before, I really enjoy kind of simple, clean, classic looking bottles, which I think this one definitely is that. Why is this my current taste? Well, obviously I like sweet scents, and this one is definitely sweet vanilla. But this is really surprising and something that came up quite recently. I've noticed that I am starting to get more interested in floral scents, which is really surprising to me because I am not a fan of floral scents. I usually don't like them. I find them too heavy, too heady. But for some reason, probably in the last, I don't know, month or so, I am starting to gravitate a little bit more towards floral scents, which is very interesting. We will see what will happen with that. But this one, in addition to being sweet vanilla, obviously there are florals in here. There are white florals. There is a jasmine, I think gardenia. There is tuberose. So it's kind of a floral gourmand, I would say. And so for that reason, I think this is the fragrance that is best, that best represents my current taste and aesthetic. Next question is fragrance that you love but don't wear often, and why? So again, I really had to think about this one, and I've chosen Rouge Smoking from BDK. So I've talked about this fragrance a number of times. You know that I really, really like it. It has cherry, it has vanilla, heliotrope, tonka, a few other notes. So why haven't I worn it recently? I think it's because I've mentioned, or I will mention in an upcoming video, that I am really, really enjoying the note of cherry, but more specifically sour cherry. And there are a few other fragrances in my collection that have that note, and I'm for some reason gravitating more towards those fragrances because cherry in here is kind of sweet, liquory kind of cherry. It is a little bit nutty, it is a little bit smoky, so it's a different type of cherry. I still love this fragrance. I still think it's beautiful, and I'm definitely keeping it in my collection because I know I'm going to come back to it. But it's a fragrance that I love but haven't really reached for a lot in the last couple of months. Next question. Do you divide fragrances by masculine, feminine, seasonal, or based on any other category? So even though I make videos about seasonal fragrances, you know, best fragrances for winter or fall, etc., in reality, I don't really divide my fragrances by season. I wear whatever I want, whenever I want. I don't think it makes any difference if it's, let's say, a strong vanilla. Why not wear it in the summer? If it works for me, if I enjoy the scent, then I will wear it. So no, I don't really divide fragrances by season. Feminine versus masculine. Yes and no. These are just, in general, these are marketing labels. I agree with that. But I also think that there are some fragrances that are more suited for women, and there are some fragrances that are more suited for men. So do we want to call them feminine versus masculine, or more suited for men versus more suited for women? I don't know, call it whatever you want, but I do think that such division exists, but it is really a theoretical division because we all have different tastes. What I consider a masculine scent, the next person might consider very feminine. So we decide for ourselves what these, you know, categories really mean. And any other divisions? Not really. I don't think there should be labels or divisions in fragrances. Everyone should wear whatever they want. Next question. How do you typically purchase fragrances? Do you sample first? Do you do it based on the reviews? Do you blind buy? Do you try them in a store? Well, you know, in recent times, trying in the store is not an option. Although when, you know, before I really started collecting and really getting seriously into fragrances, yeah, the only way I would buy a fragrance is by going to a store and trying it out. And if I liked it, I would purchase it. Well, those times are long gone. Obviously, you know that I do a lot of blind buying, but I have to say that more recently, I definitely started to less blind buy. I sample first, I get a sample first, and only after that I blind buy. And probably that's because, well, it's for a number of reasons. One, because I'm definitely probably purchasing more niche fragrances, and these are definitely A, more complex, and B, more expensive. So it is definitely very risky blind buying them, and B, because my collection is quite large and I'm really looking for sort of more interesting, more unique type of scents, and I definitely need to sample them first before I buy them. Now, I still blind buy, but I definitely do a lot less of that than I did, let's say, last year. Reviews. So typically what happens is if somebody is talking about a fragrance or reviewing a fragrance, it would pique my interest, but I never just go and buy based on that review. If I get interested in something, and really that's how I do all my blind buying, I really do an extensive research on each blind buy. You know, I read Fragrantica, I read other reviews if I can find them anywhere. I watch YouTube videos, and I really try to specifically watch videos of people that I know have similar taste to mine to see what they think of it. So definitely there is, I do an extensive research before I blind buy something. Next question. What fragrance from your collection was not love at first sniff and took you some time to fall in love with? And it's a fragrance that I recently added to my collection. This is Noir Parfum from Tom Ford. So I originally sampled this fragrance well over a year ago, and I got one sample, then I got another sample, and I knew that this was quite a hyped fragrance that many loved, but originally I really didn't like it. I really didn't understand it. I thought This is kind of too strong. This is too powerful. This is too spicy. It even at some point felt slightly vintagey to me. I just didn't understand it. It took a couple of samples for me to really fall in love with it. And when I did, I really did. And that's why I purchased the full bottle. Of course, you all know this fragrance. It is spicy vanilla with coffee. It is beautiful, warm, spicy, deep. It is a stunning fragrance, but it definitely took some time for me to fall in love with this one. Next question. How do you handle fragrance fails or disappointments? Do you declutter or do you try to rotate your collection to make sure that you use up everything? If something doesn't work with me, which obviously happens, especially with blind buying, no, I don't put myself through the torture of using it up just because I bought it. No, if it doesn't work for me, then I declutter it, then I sell it, I pass it on, whatever. I do not keep it in my collection. I only keep fragrances in my collection that I love and that I use. And we're down to 2 more questions. So the next one is fragrance on your wish list that you are not able to purchase and why. And I'm going to mention here a fragrance that I have mentioned before, but this is for me, my biggest unicorn that I would like to get. And it is Italica from Xerjoff. I don't know why, but I'm just completely obsessed with getting this fragrance, which is discontinued, although I heard some rumors that perhaps it is going to come out again on Xerjoff website sometime this year. I don't know. I really hope so because I really want to get this one. It's another gourmand fragrance. It has almond, milk, toffee, vanilla, sandalwood. I've never sampled it. I don't know exactly what it smells like, but based on the notes and based on my love for this house, I think that I'm going to love it and I definitely want to get it. And the last question is, what percentage of your collection is niche, designer, and celebrity? So let's start with the celebrity. Right now, I have 3 celebrity scents in my collection. That's it. At some point, I had more, but really most of them got decluttered. So I'm down to 3 fragrances. So let's sort of disregard that category because it's less than 1% of my collection. As far as niche and designer go, I think approximately, again, I didn't count, these are approximate values, but approximately, I would say right now, 40% of my collection is designer and 60% is niche. And I think it's sort of close to that, you know, I could be off by a few percent here and there, but it's approximately 40 to 60. So there you go. That's the end of this tag. I hope that you enjoyed it and I really hope that you will do this tag as well. And if you do, definitely let me know. And for those that don't make videos, I would love to know your answers in the comments below. So thank you for watching. I will see you soon in my next video. Bye.